It seems like MMR is more than just a number. 10K analysis and the 10K player. They believe the Boom ID can push this one forward. How about Gambit? How about Gambit, man? I want to look at that because I don't think to be leaning that way, but he want to put everyone else on the spot. What do you think, Kyle?
I feel like Ember Spirit, if there's anything that can deal with the Void Spirit, it seems to be the Ember. And it's one of GPK's best heroes. I think the itemization people have found for the hero is also one of the best combos in the game right now. And also, were you adding up the MMR of the entire panel to say they were 10K or individually? What did you mean?
No, I think like Lizard already holds a majority of that anyway, right? Like it's like I think they actually get over 10K.
They're at least 8 altogether. That's what's important. Morph, Ember.
You should actually get 7K out of Winter, right? You get like 9K, 8K out of Lizard, and then you'd have to take into account like negative 4,000 from Allen, and then you get 10K.
I will say I'm shocked that we see Chen again. There's a much better draft up against it because it was forced into the first phase, but it's a Morph Flaying, it's an Ember Spirit, and you don't really have answers for either of these heroes.
Yeah,
there's no real stuff.
You saw the heroes they wanted to take out instead. Like they wanted the ES out, they wanted the Bat Rider out. They were very problematic for Boom, to be sure. But they, as you say, they got better answers this time around. Like it's not going to be as easy just to push down the lanes. Dreamocel waiting for Shachlo to come in nice and close. He's gone for the S and shift to begin with, so with the extra support of Snapfire, they're still trying to start the early contest for the top rune.
Rubik Centaur, standard strong lane. You just reduce the enemy magic right click, and eventually Centaur pops his retaliate, starts smacking Slark. It's pretty tough for the hero actually. Dreamocel should take a lot of pressure.
It's gonna be a 3-for-1 trade-off. KheZu just strolled himself through, and easy enough. Even nicer when the Clockwork doesn't have to level up Cogs to trap out the ramp, and he can go the battery assault, more influence inside the lane. And maybe that's also another place where we've got to ask the question, so where does FNG have his influence in this game? Like, is this a lineup that Gambit actually have some places they can fight against? Are you looking at, no, he's not courier sniping.
I thought he was courier sniping top lane. I was like, I've never seen that before, but he actually just late TPs back to his top lane and immediately takes the Fade Bolt. As Centaur Rubik look to press this Slark. Mid definitely the matchup to watch, though. Yeah.
Mikoto versus GPK, where we put a lot of pressure from both of these sides into having a good performance. And it's spirit on spirit, brother on brother.
I thought they were cousins.
Are they cousins? Removed cousins? Well, it's like Ember Spirit didn't even know about Void Spirit. So yeah, I guess not brothers. Like,
I mean, I don't know if they like each other. I know Ember definitely avoids of the other spirits when he can.
What are you going on here? You're clicking your fingers and pointing at me like I meant to understand that.
The pun was so bad, it was so good you didn't get it. And that's the key. Anyway, Bottle Rush on GPK. I've not seen this super often, but makes sense because with these heroes, it feels like if you can bottle up that 2-minute rune, right, you're almost guaranteed to win this lane.
Man, FBZ, you're too deep underneath the tower. He was luckily able to shift the aggro off as he swashbuckled back. It's like trying to get up in the face of a Morphling. That doesn't really work because he just agi morphs and then just heals up. Oh my god, Excess Vampire. Not a healthy man. The leech is going to be there, and Dreamocel loves it when this happens. First blood his way. 1 permanent agility has been gained.
Surprised that Shachlo didn't body block a bit better there. If he blocks the pounce, you're going to be just fine.
He also was holding his second point, only now just leveled up the hoof stomp.
No. And they got the lane pushing. It's always big when you're playing the safe lane. You get 2 first. It's a huge edge, as we can just see why right there. And a pull as well from KheZu. This is nice. Mid lane. Clock's going to rotate over, but there's a ward there. And GPK will know what's up. He shouldn't go down.
Yeah. And with the creep wave coming underneath the tier 1 tower anyway, like Mikoto's not going to get any huge advantage from this. GPK just backs up for a bit. Actually, what does he? He just body blocks. That's all he can do.
It's all about the lane control nowadays. Arcane Rune was bottled up by Mikoto, as you said, so we'll have the edge for some time. And I think that that's something I'd like to see the Rubik do as well. These rune controls mid. Somebody has got to help out GPK at the 4-minute mark.
Hyde? He just walks in front of Dream, gets into the trees. and is able to salve up. While in mid, Mikoto still battling heavily against Gibkiy through the Flame Guard. Wants to keep the chase going. Gibkiy having some bottles available, and it's a little bit off target with the Remnant.
It doesn't really matter. You have so much spam potential. There's no issues. You can see him just constantly using his abilities thanks to the arcane. I always panic about the RCS. Don't miss.
Prepare for a lesson.
Rune up in 30 seconds. This is going to be big. I want to see Excess Vampire try and help out Gibkiy in the mid lane, because whoever gets this next rune will start winning middle decisively.
Hyde is just having enough of this. There's a bloody harpy Stormcrafter.
Yeah.
Like just removing his life once again. This time he's got no salve, so the Clockwork's got the Walk of Shame back, and Pango will just have to solo the lane. But he can push it out pretty fast with Swashbuckle.
At least it's not a 400 mana pool like it used to be. That was insane.
Yeah. That's broken.
This Ghost, though, one of my favorite creeps to get on a Chen. You can just go gank with it. It's like a Scotty slow. And Rune was bottled top, no assistance, which means you now have a hasted Void, who should also be able to hit 6 first. So you got to be cautious if you're Gibkiy.
It doesn't have the regeneration to stand the ground. Nope, hits the Remnant. Ember, come on back for a little bit, and Flame Guard must be burnt for protection levels.
I'd be curious to see who looks to make moves early on. Dreamocel pounces away up top. Already a double Wraith Band. Typically don't see Slarks do this very often, but I like the decision. You want to just invest in the laning phase, right? Because Rubik Centaur will inevitably pressure you out. You don't want to go for anything too greedy. Hello.
Man, that's actually such a dick thing to try and do. FPZ swashbuckles Dream so he can't get the last hit, and the Clockwork Rocket flies in to try and like contest the pull camp.
And
Just
being
fun little small things. As the 5-minute bounty runes all go out, and it will go 2-2.
Man, FNG has 18 CS. I know a lot of that's probably easy camp, but still. They're doing a very good job down bottom. 31-12 on the Morph, only 17-0.
He's almost got the same net worth. Like, okay, he's 200 short of the Pango for net worth.
That's not bad. FNG's playing a great Chen, already level 4 as well.
Excess Vampire being hunted. Pounce is up. Shachlo. Oh, there's your cookies done. And Rubik just gets blasted down.
Snap fired.
Yeah.
This hero still very, very high damage.
Oh, wow, there you go for Mikoto. But then Mikoto, no, he had to war up through the north. Oh, no, there's no stun from the Shard, from the Golem. He'll get up the hill. No one charges available, and Mikoto is going to be very happy to be able to TP home.
We can kill the clock. It's going to split. Oh, wait, never mind. I mean, that was what we discussed, right? Ember level 5, Void Spirit level 6. This is all because of the runes. And as soon as he gets it, boom, double step, and gets the kill. Haven't seen a two-step that good since my 8th grade high school dance, but very impressive performance by Mikoto. This is why Winter was such a huge fan.
That two-step from the sidelines?
Oh yeah, I wasn't dancing.
Yeah.
I didn't have confidence until much, much later in life. Still working on it. It's occasionally shadowed by Twitch chat, but luckily I have a short memory, so I just rebuild myself.
Yeah, I don't know if you've actually got Twitch emotes for 2 left feet. If you can actually put 2 left feet on a chat.
You're one of the two people.
Lane, they're going to fight again. We can come back to that terrible analogy later on. Clockwork trying to close the distance over on the Rubik, and with the slow from Snapfire, everybody come inside the cogs, and an easy TP out from the Centaur, and a very accepted death from Excess Vampire.
Or one more Agi. But either way, it is going to be permanent. This is very nice for Dreamocel, and his game is important because if you don't get ahead on the Slark, it's impossible for you to start hunting this Morphling. And Dream has demonstrated he will carry this game if you give him enough space.
Especially just being able to get this 6 without being properly like harassed down. Like he's now got treads with the double Wraith Bands. That's flying out the courier at the moment. So he's got a lot of what he's searching for. At the same time, this naked mech has arrived again on FNG at a really good timing.
7.5 minutes, he's got a mech. He'll have ult soon too, my goodness.
Not too shabby at all.
That is so much heal.
Oh, they see Gibkiy. Watch for the remnants. And he's put one just in the, well, that's in the hole. It's not out, it's not in. I mean, it's not out, it is in. Clockwork, looking to cog block, and nothing's gonna come up that hill at him.
It's a tough game so far for Gibkiy. They're gonna get a nice ward. but not, no, at least so far, not the mid matchup I think that Gambit was hoping for, considering they last picked this hero for Gibkiy.
All right, Excess Vampire.
Oh,
Mikoto just jumps down, at least get himself a double stump, but the Remnant pulling back the Rubik. And that's now going to be his 4th death. 5 of the kills are Boom. Or 4 of the 5 kills have been on that Rubik. Excess Vampire giving his life, but there's diminishing returns, so ignore the kill count. The advantage is only barely going the way of Boom as far as gold goes.
But this team is very momentum based, and you got to expect they're feeling themselves right now. Sure, the gold advantage, it's not about the raw resources, but how do you feel? And right now, sure, it's Dream who's ahead, but concern is that Gibkiy, playmaker, also on the playmaker, is behind. He's going to have to spend a lot of time recovering. Maxed out Flame Guard means he's mostly just going to be shoving waves for the next 3 or 4 levels.
Also, another thing to keep eyes on is like it's actually great with Dreamocel. Like, he's able to scout out the observer ward that was sitting behind the tower. The other big advantage of Slug, how do you keep that vision advantage when clocks are popping off rockets? There's a lot of different things they can work with. As well, okay, Chain Suns is also a nice way to work, but if you don't get the kill, Slug just backs off and heals up. While Clockwork looking for Excess Vampire, jump forward. FBZ into the rolling. Letting it go with the Rolling Thunder, and he's just constantly stomping. But then the Cogs, they're actually out for the moment, and it's actually going to be Clockwork and Snapfire who are the 2 to die in this. And I don't know if you really want to restrict yourself outside of your own Cogs. Mikoto's looking for something in return, but it won't happen. There's 3 heroes there that he cannot contest.
I mean, it comes down to, if you're going to make this play, you need Mikoto there, right? Your Void Spirit is super far ahead. He's a hero you want to be playing around, and instead they make this move with just the double support combo now. Go taking damage inside. He'll just kill off the Chanami. Yeah, like,
see it again.
What, this is just never going to work. And not just that, we talked about it. FNG, mech plus Chen heal with the bonus thanks to the Divine Favor. How do you kill somebody with FNG standing right there?
What's this like too? Like, what is considered a wall? Like, we had our thing before with like the Mars Spear not hitting into Roshan.
Well, I don't know,
but
Toby,
like,
but I do wish you'd take yours down. I've been trying to get close to you for at least a year or 2, but I still feel like there's something between us.
Oh my god, I cannot wait for this game to be over and Winter is going to come and replace you.
This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, go back to Alan. Yeah. Clockwork. Hook shots straight past the Morphling. Not exactly the way he probably thought that was going to go down. And the TP was coming in quickly from Excess Vampire, but he ends up cancelling that. He can hold the mid lane by himself. He's got Scatter Blast as well as his Fade Bolt, so no creep wave will approach that tier 1 tower. But Boom, they focus on the bottom tier 1. Clockwork Rocket checks behind inside the trees, just so they're safe. While the rest of Gambit look for the hunt up on top. But Slark, having Shadow Dance, runs straight back behind the tower. Is there going to be a yeah, there's a TP coming in. Pango at least can slow down the pressure. Dream pouncing himself forward, taking on as Dreamocel, the other Dream in this game. A quick waveform and Stampede out. Dream, he's low on mana. The Rolling Thunder from FBZ. At least he'll go through the Chen army. Can't get close enough, so he just kills off the Chen army with a backward swashbuckle.
Mikoto gets bot tower though, and this all goes down. Gambit playing with 4 heroes up top.
He's getting really close to that Orchid.
Yeah.
And you're getting, this is the other thing too, which we were wondering. We were talking about this during the drafting phase, like who's able to pick up the Spirit Vessel? If it's a 3-position clock, like he could do it, but is that really what he wants? The Pangolier has already started over, like with the casual Javelin, the Urn of Shadows. Now we can get the Spirit Vessel to mess with the Morph.
And I really like Dreamocel's build as well. Going for the straight-up fighting items, right? You want to get an Orchid timing and just go. He should, in theory, have Drums Defusal around the same time, and then, boom, you've got 2 killers, whereas Dream and Gibkiy, they're still going to have to play a little defensively. You're just trying to farm for some time, and they'll both have an Orchid Cleanse soon. Manta Rush on the Morph, Yules on the Ember, but they need those items up before Void Spirit has the Orchid if they want to be able to split push effectively.
The smoke's going to fail from Gambit. There's so much pressure being applied to the bottom lane, and with the Observer Ward up on the hillside, the smoke movement from FNG, yep, smoke's going to break, sentry up, at least he'll get the D ward. But Mikoto, as well as Hyde, just back off the lane. And Pango's up to his own farming now. They really would like to have that Spirit Vessel before the fight has to begin. Manta style is being built from Dream, but it's still taking some more time. Another 2.2k before he can get that.
And it's pretty much anybody's game still. I really am looking for Boom to get aggressive. We've discussed it throughout the series, but it does feel like the team that starts playing on the enemy side of the map first often wins. And I do believe the team that took the enemy mid tower first has won both games. And this is where I'd like to see Boom start playing once they get those core items up. Just the recipe away from the Orchid is Mikoto, and the Solark just the robe and recipe away from Defusal. You get it.
Yeah.
Everyone in chat probably understands as well.
Yeah, we've learned how to translate you over time.
The flames.
Oh,
the
really?
team that also doesn't pick the Centaur normally wins too. You know, he's played, this is now his 4th game. Hasn't won a single one out of it. It's been rough.
Hey, at least he made it here.
Yeah, didn't get stuck in wildcard.
A lot of heroes don't even get picked, Toby. They just stay in the box. I've seen every Toy Story. I know how sad that is.
There is actually so many heroes who have not been played. It's a little sad.
The one, I got a DM about Warlock, and I would agree. I think that's one that we will eventually see come back. People still underestimate just how effective damage amplification and reduction is, and Fatal Bombs are still busted. But
no Alchemist, no Treants,
no Huskar.
No Huskar, no Night Stalkers. He got nerfed into the ground as well. No ETs, no Enigmas.
Toby, it's a long list. You want to?
It's a very long list. I can keep going through this while we wait for the 15 minutes to come up for the Bounty Ring contest.
And you can
That
feel,
was my plan, Kyle. Why do you have to shatter the image of the illusion?
You can feel the game 3-ness of this matchup because it's 5-2, and suddenly these two aggressive teams are just farming core items and only making plays as a group. Look at this, the ward up top. No Manta yet on the Morph. He's in big trouble if the Void Spirit can kill with his outpost.
You look towards the bottom lane. That's what they're really searching for. Clockwork's going to come in range. Hook shot forward, catching out Shachlo, puts up the cogs, and then it is just Mortimer's Kids that's flying down. Oh, Stampede for the leash. It keeps the Centaur in position. Now the jump in as well for Pango, but the supporters arrive from Gambit. They've got all 5 players now here. And Morphling was able to complete his TP out of top lane, and Clockwork, Cog run once again. I don't know if you also want to be there, Pango. Swashbuckles up, and he's jumping as far away as he possibly can.
I can't believe nobody died there. And also top lane, that was a long TP on the Morph, but he got so lucky. He was in a little crevice where there was no ward vision, so Mikoto didn't know that he was leaving, thus doesn't find what would have been a 100% free kill with the Orchid reveal. Instead, he just camps that area, waiting for nothing.
Well, the mid lane, let's see how the defense goes. But wait, no, FBZ will arrive. Oh, he swashbuckles 1 creep. Okay, that's not enough. You need to clean up a lot more than this, including that Chen army. And that's what they're looking for right now. Cogs, actually, he stole Battery Assault, not exactly what he was hoping for, but Hyde really trapped inside of his own Cogs with a cookie. Pushes him away, the Chen army is finally being removed.
Trade a lot for it, though, and notably
Slark into the back lines. They're going to catch FNG. He's already used the mech, has Hand of God. May not, oh yeah, doesn't want to use that one. That's a little bit too big of an ability to just use to save your own life.
And this right there, I love the Slark against Chen. For that reason right there. You just find him, and all the counter initiation from Gambit's afraid, because if you're holding that pact, it's all cleansable. So nothing you can really do to save FNG once he gets jumped. And Void Spirit's still a huge threat to the Morph until the Manta's complete, along with really the rest of the team. Only Emperor could escape with a self-Yules. And even then, if you get pounced mid, it could be trouble. Nice rocket up. That was the ward spot used in the previous game, but Boom know what's up, and they rocket for vision to ensure it gets cleared out. Another benefit to the Slark, of course. And he's been given sentries by his teammate. That's another thing I love to see. I love to see.
So he's got that. Yeah, he's got a killer. He's got the Diffusal Blade. This is the Slark very much ready to fight, and if he doesn't get slowed down, that BKB time is going to be even better. Already with 4 permanent agility and 3 kills to his name.
Yeah. Spirit Vessel on the Pango. I love that decision too. You've got to buy one. We've talked about how much sustain this Chen provides. The Morphling obviously going to be trying to regen up when he gets targeted. This allows you to reduce that significantly. And Pango plus Snapfire is a hell of a deep push. They're just camping this mid tower. They spam their Q, and the wave's dead immediately. You need this Chen army plus some more players if you actually want to be able to finish off this dire tier 1.
I don't know if I'm totally sold on this switch of items. The growth bow into the Void Spirit.
So the magic resist.
Yeah, but over Pupil's Gift.
It's more damage output on the spell combo. If you're hunting Morph, it makes sense. But now that there's a Manta up, that's no longer really a possibility. So perhaps he'll change back.
I want they see everything. Boom. Bringing numbers towards the mid. BZ. And he's getting a little bored.
I mean, I'm not surprised. It's 6-2. Everyone, there's like a rule here. We've got a ceasefire. And the only time I've seen Boom cross into this area of the map is under the cover of smoke, as they are now. Pupils back in, to your point. Mikoto listening.
You know, who was it? I think it was actually FBZ I bumped into, but in their second game against BA yesterday. It's like, yeah, we weren't in the right headspace for that game. Why? Because they were playing boring heroes. Middle lane, initiation starts off, FBZ, Stampede, swashbuckles down, and then gets cookied back up again into GPK. But it's the back lines where Clockwork initiated and just got popped out by the Morphling as well as the Rubik. These cogs just blocking the top ramp and Searing Chains, making it difficult for Boom to be able to escape. They're just trying to get back out again. Mikoto will be able to do so. Both supports from Boom have fallen.
And it's this team fight of Gambit, man. A big part of it's the Chen. You effectively have like 600 plus healing on Gambit. You don't have any on Boom. And this is a big deal. These Clockwork cogs also seem somewhat anti-synergy with the Pango because he effectively just walls off his friend. I think he doesn't
bounce off it, right? Like he just goes up against it and just keeps rubbing.
I mean, that sometimes is effective.
Slark found Ember Spirit. Quick little Searing Chains. That's a well off-target swashbuckle, and Ember will just remnant away to safety. He finishes up his Maelstrom as well, coming out in the Courier.
Gotta be leaning Gambit thus far. This Morphling approaching E-Blade already with the Manta. As you said, there's no real stuns on the side of Boom. Your weight of killing Morph is, at some point in theory, Slark's able to go toe-to-toe, but he's still a ways away.
And they're three-man smoke ganking. They'll find KheZcute. They don't really, like, that's not the target they were hoping for. They were hoping for a core.
And man, what an item to pick up. Ember Spear with Dragon Scale. Just a bonus 48 damage to every target, or 54 rather. Because you slight and then proc the Fire Burn. Also some nice free armor against this physical damage.
Hyde is just making a break for the trees. He knows that Gambit want that tier 2 tower on top, and with the Chen, it's quite easy to claim it. Dreamocel's trying to get some kind of counter push on the bottom lane, but Radiant fought up.
I don't know about that. If you're Gambit, you might even look to keep going.
They're getting attacked on their tier 1 and their tier 2, so Ember will come back, but he's fine. He'll always have a remnant to work with. But Dreamocel's not going to back off from this that hard. Actually, he will. He'll pounce away. And the mid lane Gambit have TP back to defend their mid tier 1.
Yeah, Gambit slowly but surely acquiring map control. I still cannot believe how slow-paced this game is. Very methodical from both sides, but you can't really blame Boom considering they want to play aggressive, but Gambit's walking around with a Zoo in tow, and you're just not really able to contest if FNG's nearby with all this heal sustain.
Do Gambit have a lineup where they can at least force an engagement? Like, I suppose like Roshan would be the only critical thing that Boom would have to come out to stop. Like, if they're losing towers, they're okay with this as long as they don't lose their high ground, their tier 3s. Because, what was it, I think Lizard was saying on the panel, like in the late game, you're going to favor the slot.
Yeah.
You're going to favor him against Centaur, against Morph.
He just needs like 4 or 5 items. It's at a point where he's got, you know, Butterfly Scotty or something equally ridiculous, where things start to turn up for him, but you just don't out-farm, or rather out-fight in the mid-game against a hero like Morph, especially post-Manta. I expect with that E-Blade, they'll look to get frisky. Perhaps now, as you said, yep, let's get into Roach. They keep avoiding us. Let's just grab an Aegis or fight them.
Yeah, double damage is just the biggest enabler for this with Dream. And Slark will get his trade-off. Like, this is the old-fashioned trade-off. Roshan for the Radiant tier 2 tower on bot. But Dreamocel's already beginning his own TP over. But Roshan's dead. They won't get there in time. Like, you could throw Mortimer's Kiss in there. Clockwork gives the extra information, but they're still too far out of range. Morphling's taking it. The double damage room, they just weren't ready for that.
Shout out to Nahas, who's been beating the same drum for about 4 years now. Double damage should do at least half damage instead of what it does to enemy heroes on Roshan and objectives. However, it is part of the game, and it does sort of force objectives, but it is kind of silly at times. You're like, oh, hey, we got the one rune that allows for this move to happen. Let's go do it. At the same time, you know, we've all played card games before. Them's the breaks.
Uh-huh. Why do you have to do card games? Like,
There's a lot of RNG.
I never played Artifact.
No such thing as a good poker player, Toby. Just a lucky one.
No such thing as Artifact. GPK, hey there, hunting him down, but a quick spirit jump away will break the smoke. And he's back to the tier 1 tower for safety. And the Radiant are scanning just to see if Boom are keeping that pressure on, but they're not. They're just cleaning up the jungle instead. Back to the farming, but they want to fight. BKB on Slark. You want your ability to jump in and find a kill. But I suppose you can just try and take the tier 2 tower, but that's backdoor protected. Creep wave's coming, so that won't take much longer, but the mid lane, TP in from Pango. He's inside the trees, seconds coming in. Exodus Vampire's on the other side of those trees. Able to steal the little shredder. That is the worst thing that Rubik probably could have got from Snapfire.
And also, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure I'm buying this Slark against Morph as this game continues. It's just because the Morph's gonna have so much support. Like, all these auras, you can turn into the Slark, still stacks your own. It just...
But if he gets disarmed and like these type of problems, like...
Disarmed by Pang, I guess? Oh, I don't know, it just feels like, click on Centaur, right? Look at Slark.
Centaur. He's going to jump in. I'm looking right there. Pick up, and now the disarm. Hookshot flies forward, but the Morphling jumps in. Dreamocel having to get the BKB off in time. He's not getting the extra life back. He is not triggering off the Shadow Dance. As the fight splits into 2 different parts, everyone trying to disengage out of this one, but Morphling looks for his own target. Ember Spirit jumping forward with a couple of remnants. The Cookie can't get Hyde away to safety. He'll die inside of his own cogs to GPK's burn. And Pangalia caught by the stolen remnant. They're able to get the Searing Chains on Pango, but the Glimmer Cape protecting him inside the base. Swashbuckle still on cooldown. For all of this, for everything Gambit threw in, only Clockwork dies in this fight. And Slark's already running away, picking up bounty runes.
Yeah, the difference maker there was you click on Slark, all of his auras are self-generated. Look at Rubik. Look at these heroes when they group up. They've got 10 different unique buffs. +2 armor Keela, +3 from the toughness aura, the extra healing, the mech, the regen aura. It's just ridiculous. And you combine that with the fact that they're all doing 30% more damage thanks to the the Wolf Creep. Aegis on Morph, this is looking pretty sick for Gambit. I just want to see them press this edge. They're ahead. They potentially have enough of a lead. They could just straight up win this game. Tier 3 items coming out. I believe they've got enough for everybody to have one. Nope, they need to farm 2 more, so maybe just farm out some jungle camps, pick those up.
Yeah, there's 0 right now for Boom. Dreamocel's going to grab them all and send them back. That's not a bad one to get. Mindbreaker for the Slark. He still wants to keep that pressure on bottom lane. It's one of the big things for Boom. High ground defense just feels still so good. They've got so many ways where they can just clean the wave out. And if the cogs can block the ramp side and Gambit can't get in, they could find themselves heavily separated, and Stampede won't save you in that scenario.
You need long fights as Boom. Slark's got to be in and out of this fight multiple times. Manta's got to be forced out like 2 or 3 Orchid usages.
Smoke is going to break. Dreamocel, quick pounce away, goes towards the left, and man, that Ember Spirit. Aghanim Scepter is up, he moves fast. Slark will just BKB TP out. It's the wisest thing to do. But it's still that 9-second BKB, they're starting to reduce in duration.
And we'll see how this plays out, but for now, Gambit, total control. How long on this Aegis? Another 30 seconds. So they're probably just not going to use it. Titan Sliver up on the Morph. That's excellent. Ooh, that was close.
Just about 0.2 seconds away. Slark pouncing forward, going to find the Chen. This is a nice little grab. Any kind of kill they can claim. The mech's already been triggered off, but they haven't finished the job just yet. Slark still wants to push forward and find something, but that's 4 heroes. Gambit always with the numbers.
And it's just easier for them, right? Like Clockwork, the support duo of Boom just feels kind of worthless right now. Their whole game is just, does Slark carry? And the hero's not going to do enough damage.
Jumps forward, Snapfire, tries to be protected.
He got the wave, though.
They have Dust, they had Sentries, and now Fortification comes in.
They brought backdoor down. The creeps got close enough, so they still have that 10 to 15 seconds to push this tower. And then the wave will get there in time for them to be able to continue. And oh my god, the damage.
That's a big silence over on Centaur. They couldn't instantly E-blade themselves, pop themselves out while Slark starts the attack over on the Morphling. Trying to shift this damage as Clockwork. Hood shocks forward. Morphling pull back in by the rope and then push back by the Cog. He'll burn a lot of mana from this, but Clockwork, again, dying now out to Centaur. Because every time he initiates, he ends up just trying to kill himself off the Cog, try and separate the battle too, but Mikoto really trying to battle against Morphling. The E-Blade makes it impossible to continue the attack in, but now with a Remnant, Dream still trying to move away from the rest of Boom, but the BKB, they're both worn off now from Boom, and look at Gambit, re-engage back in. They know this is their time. Dreamocel knows it's time to get away. Waveform a little bit off target as this Rolling Thunder does cause a couple of bumps out. The Snapfire dead for 70 seconds. Clockwork once again trapped inside of his own Cog, surrounded by 4 heroes, but they want a core. They want the real hero kill, and they've found one as well. There's Pangolier. Dreamocel's doing everything he possibly can to stop this fight, but man, FBZ swashbuckles up. They get Serene chained together and push back down again. It's just cookie stuns, it's hoof stomps, and it's 3 heroes down from Boom.
It's near flawless teamfight execution as well, Toby. That was sick. Kite the BKBs, immediately they re-engage, they force the tower, get the response they wanted. Boom gets baited, and yeah, you're targeting this morph. Dream playing so elusively. GPK is a free game. How do you kill either one of these cores? They have such insane survivability. GPK with that Ags is just nigh unkillable, and he's just dancing with his opponents. Has that extra second on Searing Chains too. It's a 4-second stun and an 8-second cooldown.
Oh, Mikoto wants to jump in. They're going to work here with Dreamocel! He has to buy back. There's no other choice. Mikoto is able to Astral step himself back into base. They're going to lose. The melee racks up on top. Okay, they won't buy back. There's still all the towers on bottom lane, so they won't lose much more than that, but you're starting to see that. Well, not starting to. You're continuously seeing the amount of damage that can go into the Slark if BKB is down.
Yeah, it's just not much you can do here. And this is where the Slark versus Morph thing, I understand the argument. I know Dota buff gives Slark a big edge, but in competitive matches, it really comes down to the team play. And the problem is that Morph is so easy to buff up into this ridiculous carry. I remember that game at the Major, we got an Apex rune and suddenly just slaughtered things with the DD. You just... Or, no, not the... He got the rune and the... What was it? What's it called? The one that increases your max attribute, main attribute. Chat will tell me in a couple seconds. It doesn't matter that you don't know, Toby. Don't worry about it. But point is...
I'm not trying to follow what you're saying.
You play with Chen and Morph together, good things are going to happen, especially if you got a GPK Ember going off.
All right, now Dream is going off and GPK is alongside with him. At least Boom, like, they lose that fight. They know they're in a bad position, but they still keep their eyes on the map. They TP down. They keep the pressure on the bottom lane. That's the only place they really can provide that level of pressure.
This feels like it's been the tail of the tape thus far. Just nothing doing for Boom. What plays have they tried to make, right? It was that play bottom where they ended up getting both supports killed inside their own cogs.
They'll have to
Since then, it's just
they'll have to battle Roshan line. That's the only place they could really do it. Because if they get Nagus Immortal into Morphling, I don't think Gambit like lose anyone of value pushing in to take that bottom lane of Brax. GPK is playing with Mikoto.
He's gonna have a Shiva's up soon just to provide so much vision. And Gambit, like, oh man, this Ags pickup seems like such a sick move. I'm surprised we don't see it more often, to be honest.
That Dire Observer Ward did scout out the fact that Gambit were grouping up, so I think the smoke was already called out.
Dire are scanning.
They definitely know the numbers are there, and yep, a quick little scan just for a little bit of confirmation. Full retreat for Boom. Good vision being planted down, ready for the attack through the bottom lane. And they found a target, and it's Hyde again. And I feel like this guy's just been the punching bag of Gambit. He's almost 50% of their kills. Dream will easily take this tier 1 tower by himself. No backdoor protection for tier 1s. No fortification either.
And his team behind him, you're just not going to be able to take him down.
They're waiting to go, though. Gonna try and, Observer up. Someone's gonna get rid of that Radiant Sentry too. That's a backup from Gambit. They're in a very, very strong position. 14,000 being the gold advantage as we get to watch this top fight once again.
It's just picture perfect. Look at this. Both BKBs popped Ember out. Oh, BKB's down. Boom, get caught just hesitating. They want to engage, but they've lost their ability to actually land anything on a target. And all of a sudden, Gambit's here. No problems. The 4 staffs on both Shachlo and Rubik just serving to make it even easier to kite. And you combine that with all the sustain.
Here's your
what do you
contest.
do?
FBZ rolling thundering into the pit. Roshan's a 4K HP.
Oh, now it's a
but
wall.
now they're all getting back out again. And Melt the bounce forward from Slark. A quick force up away. Chen's able to get his distance. No real strong disarm, and Slark's in too deep. But the hook shot, backline's clockwork, has picked up and thrown around. The Rubik's had a great time against Hyde. Still no one dead just yet, but Morphling's doing the best he can to try and catch up the Slark, who pounces himself up on top of a hill. Not where he wants to be. Same thing for Clockwork inside the river, with no way out and no buyback available, so they're going to lose a big vision advantage. Maybe Centaur too far up, but nah, you got a 4-star available. Rubik, he can be the bigger one caught as Mikoto trying to stay with it, but again, another 4-star and the Stampede. Disengage after disengage. Mortimer's kids fly inside the pit, making life difficult. Dream at least has the Aegis to the Immortal as they wait for Dreamocel to pounce himself away from this fight. The Void Spirit got hunted down by the Ember.
You see Dreamocel get stuck up on that cliff, man. I know RTZ's been smurfing in Herald matches. I didn't think he was in this one, too. Unbelievable. There's just no way to fight into this team. They hook in, immediate lift out. There's just too much disengage. Morphling's got a BKB. No one, like, you just can't kill anybody, Topes. If you can't out-team fight, you can't pick off, and you can't outscale. There's really just not much you can do to win the game. Look at this. Oh, let me morph slow. Let me summon him back in. Bring me my Greaves recipe. Bring me my Aether Lens recipe, his allies say. As they go right for Megas.
You're seeing where Slark's moving, because they don't have the vision on the hillside anymore. So Slark is trying to wrap around the back lines, at least get a support. I think he wants the Rubik, but he knows he's under vision. They just lost KheZu once again. And with the Rolling Thunder forward, FBZ able to hit pretty hard, and then Rubik will end up falling. So Dreamocel finally getting something of what he's searching for. A little couple of hits into Shachlo, and the disarm, making life a little harder, but it's also harder for the Slark. And Hyde trapped in his cogs of doom. 3 heroes down, and it really does feel pretty hard. Like, you get the Rubik, and that's what you're celebrating. That's not enough to celebrate. Not at this point in the game. 35 minutes in, you're just going to get megged. And Gambit will be disengaging just to re-engage. They got the rooting over on the Pangolier, and he will not get away from this one safely. Mikoto joins him as well, and GG is called. Gambit will be the first team to reach the winner's bracket final here at the StarLadder ImbaTV Minor. A good performance in Game 2 and Game 3. They'll definitely want to forget Game 1, but showing the strength of this team to bounce back and just finish this series properly.
Oh, for sure. Impressive performance. They looked real shaky in that first game, but I'd argue they won all 3 if they had just went to play Dota at 15 instead of 20 minutes in that first game with their super farm TA. However, the Morph, very successful for them. I think that moving forwards into that winner bracket final, you got to think about banning at first phase. This team looks so comfortable with Dream on the hard hyper carry and GPK on the playmaker. I think I'd be terrified of giving them this combination of cores again.
And it feels like Gambit have a lot deeper pool than that. This roster has been around for a long time, broken up, come back together again, a couple of bumps along the road, but it's still a very strong squad, and I don't know if like just taking Morph out in the first phase is going to be enough for you. Like, you saw the ES and the Batrider banned out here at the start of Game 3 because you realize that Game 2, like they would say it'll be so good with it. But I still, before we start singing all the praises of Gambit, want to give massive props to Boom. They still have another run. This is not an elimination game. They'll drop down to the lower bracket round 1. It'll be a tough matchup because they play against the loser of Alliance and Aster.
So yeah, I think in their match against Alliance, they're going to have to like just go back, or their match against the loser.
I'm sorry. Is this scripted?
I'm just kidding. I will say this team has impressed. They've been getting progressively better throughout the tournament, but so far they're that half tier still below the rest of the field, and they're going to have to turn up. I want to see them tweak their drafts just a little bit. I don't like the Slarks and the Trolls for Dreamocel. I really don't. I think that I'd much rather see them on an Illusion core or something that can
like that. Yeah.
Apply aggressive pressure, become just annoying, and be the guy that actually plays the hard lane. That's when they look best. And I'm not buying the, I'm just going to like farm up, get items, and eventually I'll be relevant, like in the troll game. Here, you also had the Void Spirit going for an Orchid Mikoto in that game that they won with it. Actually went for the Chrysalis into the Yules build. Maybe that would have been better here. Who knows? But again, the real key, perhaps, maybe Nahaz was right after all.
No.
Chen.
No.
Chen. 2 games in a row, 2 wins in a row.
No.
What are you doing? They didn't tell us to throw.
That's
just so you know,
that's our transition.
no,
We
it's
messed
not
with
the
him. We're totally
transition.
messing with him.
The way you do this, guys, folks at home, just so you understand what Toby did wrong there, is we have to wait for production to tell us when to throw. You can't just stop talking and stare at the camera
Hey,
and
you don't
expect
hear
people to
what's
know
in
what's
my
up.
ear.
Huh?
You don't know what's in my ear.
Yes, I do. I hear what you hear.
Oh, I hear other things. Anyway, that's terrific. That is smooth transition.